Your Holiness, the great 14th Dalai Lama of Tibet, I would like to congratulate you and wish you an 82nd happy birthday on this very joyous occasion. I would also like to acknowledge the President of Ladakh Buddhist Association, Sawantinela, and the executive members for being very kind in your speech and for being supportive of the Ladakh Buddhists as a whole and Tibetan people in particular. And I would also like to acknowledge Dr. Sunam Dawalumula, Chief Councillor of Ladakh Hill Council, for giving an impassioned personal speech, including requesting His Holiness give you chilab to control your temper. Hopefully, after his visit, your temper will be down and the council members will appreciate a lot. And the credit will go to His Holiness the Dalai Lama though. On this joyous occasion, I want to say, this beautiful land of Ladakh is very lucky. The Ladakhi people are very fortunate because we are with His Holiness, celebrating his birthday and also wishing His Holiness the Dalai Lama live long. Because His Holiness office gets invitation from around the world. Many powerful people, organizations, including Tibetans. But Ladakh is the only place where His Holiness keeps coming every year. So people around the world, including Tibetans, are quite envious of people of Ladakh. And even His Holiness Dalai Lama goes to United States of America, but he spends a week, at most 2 weeks. But in Ladakh, he's spending more than a month. But I'm very happy to share that as the Honorable Speaker of the Tibetan Parliament said in his speech, that what His Holiness Dalai Lama has contributed for the humanity, for the world, for India, for the Buddhist people, for the Tibetan people and Ladakhi people cannot be compared. His achievement and contribution will be etched in the history of the world, will be etched in the history of India, will be etched in the history of Tibet. He was born in a Thaksit village, in a remote village in Amdo, in Tibet. At the age of 5, Tibetan people recognized him as the 14th Dalai Lama. At the age of 16, when Tibetans saw danger of invasion from China, the People's Republic of China, Tibetans all over Tibet prayed, beseeched for His Holiness to take over the political leadership. At the age of 16, he was the only hope we had who could protect us. At the age of 23, after the occupation of Tibet, when we lost our country, we had to come to exile. So at that time there was a saying, we had only sky and the land as our friends, but nothing else. But at the age of 23, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, as per his vision, supported by the Tibetan people, worked hard to create Tibetan schools, Tibetan settlements, Tibetan monasteries, and Tibetan administration. Now, as I shared in Tibetan, the literacy rate of Tibetan people below the age of 60 is 94%. It's better than India, it's better than Bangladesh, it's better than Nepal, it's better than Pakistan. So what His Holiness has envisioned, implemented by Tibetan people, has led and grown as far as education is concerned. As far as Tibetan settlements are concerned, compared to 60 million refugees around the world, Tibetan refugees are considered the most efficient and self-reliant community, including by an Indian government officials as well. As far as Buddhism is concerned, not only we have revived in India, it has spread across the world. And not only that, after the occupation of Tibet, the Communist China thought and planned and executed to destroy Tibetan monasteries and nunneries. 98% of monasteries and nunneries were destroyed. 99.9% of monks and nuns were disrobed. Communist Party of China thought Buddhism is gone, Tibetan civilization is gone, Tibet is gone, Tibetan identity is gone. But in 60 years, they are proven wrong. Buddhism has revived back in Tibet, thanks to the leadership of His Holiness Dalai Lama. And not only that, Buddhism has revived in India, including in all the Himalayan region, including Ladakh. This is some achievement that we must cherish, because if you go by the history of India, from 2nd to 13th century, Nalanda Mahavira was there. But in 13th century, it was completely destroyed. Along with the destruction of Nalanda Mahavira in India, decline of India also happened. It's not just a coincidence. When Nalanda Mahavira was thriving, India was among the #1 in economy, #1 in civilization, #1 in defense, and #1 in spirituality. With the Nalanda University destroyed, India's status in the world also declined. But thanks to the Tibetan Lothavas, translators, who came to India in 7th and 8th century, they learned Sanskrit. They translated texts of Buddhism in Tibetan language. So in Tibet, we preserve the Nalanda tradition in its most comprehensive form. That also was destroyed in 1959 and 60s by the Communist Party of China. But now, Nalanda tradition has revived back in the land of India where it was destroyed, thanks to His Holiness the Dalai Lama's leadership. And Nalanda tradition is also alive and thriving in the Himalayan region. In 1960s, there were few Tibetans who thought we should go more modern, we should go more scientific and shun tradition and Buddhism. Now, those people are proven wrong. I hear few people in Ladakh also thought the same. Now, Buddhism has revived in Ladakh, thanks to His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Now, with the Buddhism in Tibet and the Himalayan region, our identity is alive, our identity is recognized, our identity is respected. This is key to survival of Nalanda tradition and our common civilization. Not only Nalanda tradition now, the Buddhism is appreciated by scientists around the world. They study Buddhism to understand way of life, to understand happiness, to understand pain. They thought with modernization, with development, that will bring happiness, but including America, they are coming back and saying, with all the development and prosperity, how come our people are not happy? Happiness is not simply materialism and modernism. Happiness comes from within. Hence, the study of mind is key. And the study of mind, the most comprehensive study of mind, is only there in the Nalanda tradition preserved by the Tibetan people under His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Because for which His Holiness the Dalai Lama is awarded 150 awards, including the Nobel Peace Prize. His Holiness the Dalai Lama has authored around 100 books through which millions and millions of followers around the world are following his teaching. Through the teaching, they understand Buddhism. Through this teaching, they understand Buddhist civilization. Through this teaching, they understand Tibetan cause as well. Hence, he is welcome and met by many presidents, prime ministers, and kings and queens of different countries. Actually, there are several surveys done. In some of the surveys in different countries, His Holiness is more popular and more liked than their own president, prime minister, or the kings or queens of those countries. So His Holiness the Dalai Lama definitely is the most liked, most respected person on this earth. Hence, the Chinese government also should see His Holiness the Dalai Lama as the solution to the issue, not a problem. And I hope the Chinese leadership will carefully consider the middle way approach, which is supported by the United States government as well, and through which what we seek is genuine autonomy, which is a win-win proposition for both China and the Tibetan people. Finally, I want to end by saying that His Holiness the Dalai Lama is the beacon of hope for the world. His Holiness the Dalai Lama is the light of harmony for different religions. His Holiness the Dalai Lama is the manifestation of Buddhism, or Buddha of compassion for Buddhists. And His Holiness the Dalai Lama is the life and soul of the Tibetan people. JVC and Tibetan people are forever linked. Dalai Lamas and the Tibetan people are inseparable. As long as there is Tibet, as long as there is Tibetan people, there will be JVC, there will be Dalai Lamas to elevate the sufferings of the Tibetan people and the Buddhists around the world, including our brothers and sisters of Ladakh. With this, I pray and wish on behalf of 6 million Tibetan people that may His Holiness the great 14th Dalai Lama of Tibet live more than 113 years, live for very, very long time. Thank you.